every single vote still has to be earned. We've got another 6 days to go, and it is very, very important to make the argument that if you want change, you have to vote for it. This is a big choice election because it's either 5 more years of what we've just had for 14 years, because nothing's going to change. That means the NHS won't get better. We'll still be in a sort of low growth, high tax doom loop. Or we can choose a different path and start to rebuild.
Keir Starmer has made a disastrous blunder that has effectively sealed his party's fate. The streets are ablaze with anger and resentment towards Labour, and honestly, who can blame the public? This time, Starmer didn't just make a misstep, he crossed a line from which there is no turning back. His decision is so reckless and short-sighted that it is bound to shorten his time in office, leaving his party teetering on the brink of disaster. Emotions are running high, and the repercussions of his actions will resonate for a long time to come. The harsh reality is that Starmer is now painfully aware of the dwindling public support. The situation is truly dire. The Labour Party, which once revealed in a decisive victory over the Conservatives, now appears to have fallen into the clutches of formidable adversaries. Society seems to be increasingly repelled by them, and this sentiment is only intensifying.
Keir Starmer. This constant fact that he harks on about being chief prosecutor. He's not, he's called Director of Public Prosecutions. But chief prosecutor, what does it make him sound like? It makes him sound like a figure out of Stalin's Russia. In Starmer's eyes, he is clearly of impeccable character. He is always right.
We're all excited, and we are certain no one will miss him when Starmer departs. Farage launched his Brexit campaign at a time when he was a dominant force in the European Union. He was celebrated as a hero of Brexit, passionately opposing everything related to the EU and playing a crucial role in securing Britain's independence. Following the victorious outcome, he proclaimed Great Britain's Independence Day and became a symbol of this historic achievement. British voters made a bold decision to leave the European Union, heralding a new era for the independent United Kingdom and illuminating its future. I take pride in everyone who has demonstrated remarkable courage in the face of threats and acted on their convictions. Since Farage announced Brexit in the media, he has become a true icon for many. Love him or hate him, his significant influence cannot be overlooked. This is a major setback for Starmer.
Well, the opinion polls tell us, don't they? They have plummeted in a way that looks a bit like an alpine avalanche. He's literally fallen off a cliff. I think there are very real reasons for this. When you're looking at this kind of thing, you always look, well, has there been anybody like this before? I think the answer is one very obvious figure, and that is Theresa May. That she has the same sort of rigidity, the same sort of strange sense. She always called it public service. He constantly goes on about this. She even used a similar phrase, which was strong and stable.
Well, Starmer has made a critical error by once again weakening Labour's support. Currently, they are struggling to maintain a meagre 33%, having lost the majority in favour of Reform UK. Recent polls indicate that Reform's rating has surged from 14.7% to an impressive 21%. That's quite a significant jump, isn't it? The Reform Party is now just one step away from claiming the top position. At present, they are leading the Conservatives by 1%, who have dropped 4% and now sit at only 20%. This is a serious setback for Starmer. His rival is on the rise, poised to take his place in Downing Street.
I think there are very real reasons for this. When you're looking at this kind of thing, you always look, well, has there been anybody like this before? I think the answer is one very obvious figure, and that is Theresa May. That she has the same sort of rigidity, the same sort of strange sense. She always called it public service. He constantly goes on about this. this. She even used a similar phrase, which was strong and stable. So here is somebody, in both cases, both May and Starmer, who have a peculiar rigidity in a job which actually demands, yes, at times you have to be immensely firm, but you have to have something tactile. You have to have fingers that can sense, a nose that can smell, eyes that can see. These are people who simply don't have that.
The past few weeks have been a whirlwind of emotions and optimism for the Reform UK party. Polls are rapidly reflecting the surge in the party's popularity. Recent data suggests that Reform could secure 5 seats, 5 more than we anticipated at the start of the campaign. These seats include Clacton in Essex, Boston, and 2 additional counties. But why are voters gravitating towards this party? Reform UK claims it aims to connect with communities it believes have been neglected and overlooked. A closer examination of the regions where their message resonates reveals that poverty and decline are significantly more pronounced there than in other parts of the country. This includes critical factors such as income, education, healthcare, and housing. Clacton, where Nigel Farage is running, ranks as the 45th most dissat-weighted constituency in the UK. However, this doesn't mean Farage will have an easy path ahead. He faces significant challenges, and if he genuinely wants to improve the lives of people in struggling areas like Clacton, he must prioritise addressing these urgent issues.
Welcome along. Now, it's been 150 days of Sir Keir Starmer as Prime Minister. It's been the kind of car crash that the M6 will be proud of. But forget the 150 days. I've been off for 2 and a bit weeks. Let's just have a look at what's happened in that short space of time. We've had farmers' protests. Then it emerged that Labour was crippling British farmers to raise £520 million, but they're giving away £516 million to foreign farmers in foreign aid. Keir Starmer then, quotes, fled like a rat out of the back door whilst farmers protested the Welsh Labour.
I am genuinely disappointed by Keir Starmer's speech, and I believe many others feel the same sense of disillusionment. It's important to remember that this sentiment reflects not just my perspective, but also the findings of our national polls, which highlight Starmer's failures. Since taking office, he has seen a staggering 30-point decline in his approval ratings, which is a catastrophic drop. He is quickly becoming one of the most unpopular prime ministers we've had in recent memory, and his ratings continue to fall. This indicates a strong public disapproval of his policies, leaving him with a net rating of -14. If this doesn't resonate, it's crucial to recognize that he is teetering on the edge of disaster, with his political future hanging by a thread.
The game is up. You cannot be a lawmaker and a lawbreaker.
There was more madness as our Prime Minister is so desperate.
Nonetheless, the leader of the Reform Party appears to be managing the situation with remarkable confidence. He has successfully taken Clacton from both Labour and the Conservatives, which is truly impressive. If you believe that Farage is becoming increasingly unstoppable, then you're absolutely right. Nigel Farage holds a strong position, remains diligent, and consistently fulfills his responsibilities, earning him a special place in the hearts of voters. His rapidly growing influence makes Starmer's political standing increasingly precarious, which is certainly exciting. The political landscape is heating up, and more people are starting to realise that change is on the horizon.
I got called with the Speaker to ask a question in PMQs. Well, the Prime Minister was not going to answer my direct question in any way at all, and all those Labour MPs screaming and shouting at me. Gosh, it felt like being back in the European Parliament. I really rather enjoyed it. But the serious point, of course, and he's right, that with a population that has exploded over the course of the last few years, the previous government did not build enough prison places. But the whole question of early release, I mean, what is the point of a sentence if people are let out after only serving 40% of it? One of the people released from one of the northern prisons yesterday had, wait for it, 109 previous convictions. So that person, I would say, is bound to reoffend.
He truly squandered his major opportunity, didn't he? This makes it nearly impossible for Starmer to reclaim his party's influence after all the significant blunders he has made since becoming Prime Minister of Great Britain. Meanwhile, Farage is swiftly winning over new voters and supporters nationwide. His clear vision and decisive approach have garnered substantial support, which is understandably disheartening. Starmer is teetering on the brink of failure, while his opponents are confidently advancing towards success. Share your thoughts in the comments, and see you next time.